Hold out to the end of this video for a full, uninterrupted hot lap in the Caterham 420R with only its engine as the soundtrack.
Never seen anything like this. Got your eyes open wide and you're staring. Never seen anything like this.
Welcome to Sports and Touring, and you join me here at Caterham, where I'm picking up this, the 420R. This car is absolutely bonkers. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, no ABS, no traction control. I'm going to be hitting the road and taking this all the way to Donington Park, and we're going on a track day with Caterham because we're going to be using this the way it's meant to.
Never seen anything like this. Got your eyes open wide and you're staring. Never seen anything like this.
Every time I've been in a Caterham, I say that like I've done this loads of times now, it's only been twice, but every time it puts a smile on my face. So I'm now well on the way to Donington, done about 100 miles already, there's about 80 miles to go, and I'm still smiling. It's very tight, it's very snug, there really isn't a lot of room, the pedals are very close together, there really isn't much to speak of in terms of a seat. You're literally just kind of being held by these what look like Tillet bucket seats. A bit of carbon fibre with a tiny bit of padding on it, but you don't really notice it. It's actually a surprisingly comfortable experience. And I should say my middle-aged spread only just about fits in this thing. But there are different sizes of chassis, so whether you're smaller or larger, you can go for the small chassis or the large chassis. Both are available as options on this car. And you might notice me click, 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 click. If you haven't driven a Caterham before, that happens to be a toggle switch for the indicator that doesn't auto cancel. You have to remember, and there's been a lot of times where I've actually forgotten to take the indicator off, unfortunately. When you're not used to it, it's very, very easy to forget. And in fact, even seasoned Caterham owners have told me that they will often forget. But for me, these toggle switches just make it feel all the more race car. You look around and it's just dripping with carbon fibre everywhere. I mean, you often hear a lot of people say a race car for the road, but this really feels like it is. And it does need to be on the road, because the idea is you can drive it to the track and enjoy your track day, which is what we will be doing in this. Right, I'm going to be quiet now. I've got to finish this drive, go meet my son at the hotel, and we'll pick this back up there.
So I met my son at the hotel, had dinner, and the next day took part in the Caterham Drift Experience. This is a day of learning to drift, then competing for the prize of Drift Champion. That deserved its own video, and the link to that will be at the end of this video. And believe me, that's one you want to watch, as things get very competitive by the end of the day. This was the final weekend of the Caterham racing season, and we spent the rest of that weekend watching the racing. And that included taking part in the parade laps in a huge convoy of Caterham owners, which on its own was a huge amount of fun.
You're on Donington? Yeah.
Now, I'd never been on the track at Donington before, but my son has.
I know, you heard a little something about me, right? People love to talk, everybody wanna tell me, right? I know, bunch of fakes all around me, right? They clowning like, I ain't hear what it sounded like.
So when he gave me a few directions around the track, I wasn't going to say no.
Nice and tight to the right, over to the right, over to the right. Keep it to the right. I'm turning in now. Over to the apex. Overcut. Brilliant. Let it run out. Very nice. Slowing it down. Nice instruction. Thank you. You're welcome.
These events are live streamed on YouTube, and as we formed on the grid, we found ourselves being interviewed by the multi-talented Sam Parker, one of our drift instructors from the Drift Experience Day, and a competitor in the Caterham Academy. Of course, also a presenter.
Hello guys.
Hello.
How are you two? These guys did a drift day with us yesterday. So you're on the parade as well?
Yes.
How's it going for you today?
Oh, it's been amazing. We absolutely love these cars. This one is actually one of the ones that's going to be out on the track day on Monday, so we're really looking forward to seeing what it can do.
But no drifting in this today, sadly.
No, well, this is one of Caterham's cars, so we don't want to treat it too badly, so yeah.
You didn't say that when you were drifting their cars yesterday.
We're allowed to drift those cars. This is a nice one.
This is a press car, although I don't really want to give this one back. It's been an absolute joy to have this for the past couple of days, and I've grown quite attached to it now.
It's a beautiful colour scheme as well.
It is.
He's been talking about buying one ever since he started driving it, so...
Oh, there you go. I'll head you in the right direction after. Thank you very much,
Great to see
guys.
you again, Sam.
This is one of the things about Caterham ownership, being part of events like this and having these experiences, even though we were really here just as guests. With all the cars formed on the grid, it really was quite a sight.
Oh, wow. You're going to want to get out of this.
Now, apart from the parade laps, most of my driving so far had been on the motorway. So before the ultimate experience of taking it on track, I thought I should at least get to experience it on some fun roads.
So now we are finally getting a chance to take the car out on the road and just to see what it's like just to use. Now, I'm thinking Damani is quite pleased that we didn't have to do a long drive together in this.
Yeah, it's very tight in here.
So this is the standard size chassis. I think what we would need is the larger chassis. Gives you a little bit more width, also gives you a little bit more movement in your legs, and he needs that, being 6'1". And the other night when I first got to the hotel, Damani quickly jumped in just to sort of come around the corner with me while we were parking up the car. And that was a bit of an ordeal, wasn't it?
I think my exact words were, what a stupid car. I love it. And I heard two other people who were standing outside reception burst out laughing after I said that. So, but that's the whole point, isn't it? It's for the experience. You know, for when you're just going out, the visceral experience, it just feels like you're in a race car on the road, which is what it is. And it's just mega. And I can imagine that it's even better from the driver's seat.
Well, Damani got to drive a 360R on a drift circuit, but you haven't driven this in a straight line yet. You were going sideways most of the time. We're on a 30-mile-an-hour stretch right now, and there's just drama. Even the steering wheel is tiny. It's almost like you just think that you're going to turn, and the tiniest amount of steering input gets it going round the corner. It's just an amazing thing.
Speed bump!
Oh, this is my first experience with a speed bump in this car. Not awful. And the suspension isn't actually that stiff. It's quite supple and compliant, so you can take this out on quite a bumpy road. And as you say, it's kind of like a race car for the road. I mean, it pretty much is. That's what the R is all about. And these are essentially very similar to the race cars that are run in the club championships throughout the year. So I guess the only thing left to do is get this out onto a more open road, open it up a little bit, and enjoy. Oh, the gear change! Now the car gets to the speed limit quite briskly. On paper, 0 to 60 in about 3.5 to 3.8 seconds. With two people in the car, I'm guessing that's more around the 4 mark. But nonetheless, that is more than enough acceleration for a public road, in my opinion. But first impressions on the road before we get to take it on track. I love it. My one thing is I keep forgetting to turn off the indicator because it's not auto-cancelling.
You do that anyway in your own cars.
Well, at least they're auto-cancelling, so it's only half the time.
Yeah.
Being that you are literally a racing driver and have done instruction work, you can probably feel a lot more from the passenger seat than the average person. What's been your experience so far?
It's very fun. Slightly masked by the fact that I'm definitely too big for this car, and would love to experience the larger chassis from the passenger seat. But no, it's brilliant. And as this car's gotten out of the way, I feel like you should use all of the rev range this time instead of half of it.
Okay.
There you go. There she gets moving.
Gotta be careful if you want to keep your license. And that's the whole point of this car. You can get that out of your system on the racetrack. Speaking of which, I think it's about time that that's what we did.
So far, living with the Caterham 7 420R has been a blast. It's a car you can drive hundreds of miles on the motorway in an acceptable level of comfort or negligible discomfort depending on your preferences. I am renowned for really liking quite a harsh driving experience. And then you can take it out for a blat on some country roads and then hit the track. In this case, a dedicated track day exclusively for Caterhams. Not just owners, you can actually rent a fully prepped Caterham 7 just like this, and one of the benefits is access to expert instruction, in our case from racing driver Alex Reed. Since my son needed the instruction the least, we started with me.
Good. Stay on the power. We're going to look to try and get past this one on the back straight, so I want you to start closing up for me. Now turn in. Now braking down to third. Car turned in, and back on the power. Remember, work on your own lines, don't focus too much on the car in front. Braking now down to third. Get the car turned in, off the brake, back on the power, and start using all the track on the exit. So more power, more power, more power. Using all the road. Fourth gear, that's it, keep going.
Then it was my son, Damani's turn.
Check that mirror, make sure that there's nothing coming, and third. If there's clear space, then we can have a very gentle brake and get turned in. Up into fourth. Remember, if you're going to have that lift, it's an early lift here. So we lift now, turn, then power through. You want a low point through the car here. Braking now, play brake. Use some curve on the inside and through the corner, back on the power. Go, 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 go. Nice.
So we've had a few sessions now out with Alex Reed, one of the instructors here, the lead instructor, and he's brilliant, I have to say, absolutely fantastic. He's so clear on his instructions, very, very precise. I built up a lot more confidence. I was doing a lot better than I was before. I've still got a lot of room for improvement. I'm getting there slowly but surely. But what was really interesting was we swapped seats and Alex then took me out, and it made me realise there were so many corners where I thought the car wasn't going to stick, but it sticks, as long as you just trust in the car. And that's a hard thing to learn, isn't it?
Sometimes it takes a while to trust in the car. That's why I've always taken the mindset into building yourself up. There's no point going out there and trying to set purple sectors. You build yourself up throughout the day. You can get to grips with the car, get to grips with everything.
Anyway, I think it's about time for us to spend a bit more time on track and talk to you a little bit more about what the 420 can actually do.
Right, well, I suppose the point of this video is really as much about can a racing driver handle a 420R as can an ordinary mere mortal such as myself handle a 420R. My first time out on the track by myself.
Now roll in and roll out. Skate on the beat like I roll bounce. No, I got a rubber for the whole town. Got a foot up on the gas, never slow down. I ain't looking for a piece, need a whole crown. Staying on my feet, 10 toes down. Know what they say, what goes around always comes around. Better come around.
And right ahead of me is Callum from Overdrive. The 420R on track was not what I expected. I expected a car that was hard to drive, would feel like it's constantly trying to show you who's the boss, with a sense that it's constantly on the edge. Instead, it was a dream to drive. It's not trying to show you who's boss, it's working with you constantly, telling you exactly what's going on, progressively. Its balance allows you to transfer weight beautifully and feel that you're really getting the most out of the car. Its lightness makes for exhilarating but manageable handling. Despite having no driver aids, well, honestly, it just doesn't need them as long as you respect the car. And that's the key word, respect it. And it respects you back. Honestly, there really isn't anything quite like it. But who am I to say? Let's see what happens when you put it in the hands of a tamed racing driver.
And now it's time for Damani to go out all by himself.
Let's do it.
Go for it. Enjoy.
I know you heard a little something about me, right? People love to talk, everybody wanna tell me, right? I know, put your face all around me, right? They clowning like
safe to say he was having fun out there, and I promise we'll show you a full lap at the end of the video. But once Damani came in, he wanted to share the experience with me, and based on past experience, I'm not the best passenger.
Oh my God, it's too close.
Let's see if I'll do better this time.
Bring it on, let me do my thing. I'm a giant, they can move the game. Switch it on, it's the new flex. Ruthless, ruthless. If you never risk it, then you never know. Ruthless, ruthless. Give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless. Switch it on, it's the new flex. Ruthless, ruthless.
Now I'm normally okay with most racing drivers taking me on hot laps, but for some reason with my son, remembering him being so small that he was no longer than my forearm, and now seeing him as an adult, a far more competent driver than me, always ends up with me freaking out. I look over there and it's like looking at my little baby boy driving a car like a demon. And as a result, I chickened out and called him in a lap sooner. I probably shouldn't have, but honestly, I had taken about as much sliding around in that car as I could.
What's wrong?
That was enough for me. I couldn't take it, mate, sorry. You know when Alex took me out for a demo lap, obviously he was doing a demo lap for where I am and what I can work towards. Yours was way past that. Bloody hell, mate. Well, look, first of all, I'm sorry I couldn't let you do another run because I just couldn't take the sliding.
That's all good.
It was, but I am so proud of you.
That's what you got to do with these cars. You see them when they're racing, they're never going through it gripped up. They're always going through, you always have a four-wheel slide everywhere. That's how you extract the most out of these cars.
I think, for me, this shows that this car can be used and you can have a load of fun in it, even if you're not a racing driver like me, because I was loving it out there and I felt like I was getting better and better. But then you can see how far you can take the car as you develop your skills. You won't run out of something to learn. I think that's the conclusion.
My conclusion is, I bleeping love this car.
And since I had my turn, now it's yours. Time for a hot lap with Damani before we wrap up with our final thoughts on the weekend.
how forgiving, just how intuitive. That's the word. It's intuitive. Every single input you put into it, you get out the output that you would expect. There's not any point where you think, oh, why has it done that? You just know why. And that's what this car does best. Wowee. Wowee. I'm gonna miss this car. Wow. Unfortunately, I think that may be my time up in this car today. I really don't want it to be there, but I just have to say a huge thank you to Caterham Cars. This has been an unforgettable weekend, an unforgettable day to be able to drive this thing around and to be allowed to go up by myself. This is the first time that I've been able to do something like this with any sort of press car. So yeah, it's been an absolutely mega weekend and a mega day. So again, thank you. And this car has been the best.
I've been absolutely loving it out there. It's been so fun. The only issue is I'm just not built for a Caterham, unfortunately.
Bit too tall, bit too broad on the shoulders.
It's my legs and my feet.
Your long legs and your big feet.
I can't heel and toe because I literally have like this much room to move, and I'm scared that if I do that, I won't be able to get off the throttle. The 420 has been an absolute machine. It's so intuitive. You put one input in, you get the output you're expecting. It's so nimble and light. I've never driven anything on track that feels like it, the way it just goes into corners and rotates.
Never seen anything like this. Never seen anything like this.
So if you want to experience something like this yourself, Caterham run track days. They have their exclusive track days, and you can actually rent a car. Or if you've got a Caterham and you want to come along to Caterham's days, you can attend, and believe me, it is well worth the experience. Thanks for joining us. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and of course, if you enjoyed today, give us a thumbs up, and check out more Caterham content via the links in the description.